Welcome back to Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. Hard to believe next week, July 4th weekend. Before you know it, we'll be maybe doing a little bit of hunting. I'm not pushing the season at all. Don't forget, July 11th, you can apply for your first antlerless doe tag, so make sure you do that. But if you're going out into the woods, taking a hike, following a path, Susan Gallagher from the Carbon County Environmental Education Center has a couple of tips for you to watch out for. So Susan, usually when we come to the Carbon County Environmental Education Center, we're talking about birds or animals. I've asked you to talk about plants and what people should try to avoid on a family hike or whatever, right?
Sure. We do a lot of hikes here with kids, with young kids especially. So very often we'll point out, not that it's something to be afraid of or something that should keep you out of the woods, but just some plants that I think we need to be a little respectful of. That's the message we try to get across.
So everybody talks about the big PI.
This is the big one.
The poison ivy.
The big poison ivy.
Now you have two examples of it here, right? The vine kind and the plant kind, right?
Yeah. Well, this is a vine that's growing up this old oak. This is a vine has been here well over 30 years, and you can see the classic leaves in groups of 3. You always hear leaves of 3. Let it be.
Right.
There are a lot of plants who have leaves in groupings like that, but poison ivy can get pretty distinctive. It has what some people call them thumbs. If you look at the bottom 2 leaves at the base of those 3 leaflets, there's almost like little projections that come out, and we always use the little reminder. If you say stop,
right.
You want that plant by you, these little thumbs that stick out,
okay.
It's pretty distinctive on most poison ivy plants.
Well, and there's a lot of poison ivies that can be found on the ground, right?
On the ground.
You have some of them here?
We do have some of them here. It tends to look very similar to this. There it is right there, and it's grown. It's still grown in a vine, but you can see that it's actually on the ground, so it doesn't have to be up a tree. You can find it growing on the ground like this as well.
So you get poison ivy, it's irritating, it's itchy as all get out, right?
Very itchy, yeah.
So what do you do if you get it? What's the first thing? I mean, obviously you don't want to itch and start ripping your skin apart.
First thing is to wash.
Okay.
Fairly tough scrub on it.
Soap and water?
Not bagging, but with soap and water. I use Dawn dish liquid, if I can say that on there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I use Dawn dish liquid and water. But there is a plant, there's a natural plant that sometimes people can use to help alleviate the itching and the rash. And you
have a little way to use that,
and I have a little
too.
recipe. We're going to go in the kitchen and we'll take a look at a recipe for that,
Let's go
too.
pick some of that plant next.
This is jewelweed, touch-me-not jewelweed. It has tiny little hairs underneath of the stem, and so when you put it under water, the little water droplets sort of form on there, and it looks very shiny, very silvery. So that's where it gets its name from. This is the plant that some people talk about as a treatment for poison ivy. So we're going to take some out of the ground. This is an annual, and it's very common. It grows all over the place here.
After picking a handful of jewelweed, we headed to the kitchen, where we chopped up the plant, put it in a food processor, and added some water.
And we're just going to blend this up.
So the key is to make sure you positively identify jewelweed.
Right, because you don't want to put something on
anything
your
else
skin
on, and they have a nice little
harmful to
flower
your
in
skin.
another month or two.
Yep,
So.
and it's like poison ivy. Once you start to see it, it's just really easy to do.
The ground up jewelweed is then put into an ice cube tray and put into the freezer.
You can keep them there all summer long, and then when something happens and you think someone has been exposed to poison ivy, or I even use this for insect bites because I'm a mosquito magnet.
There you go.
There you go. You have it nice and frozen. You just pop one of these cubes out and rub it on the affected area. And you have not only the jewelweed, but it's a little bit cooler, and it's going to give you some immediate relief as well.
Well, that's pretty cool, and it froze up nice.
Yeah.
So that's
very quickly. Yeah. So that's your jewelweed treatment for poison ivy.
There you go. Yeah. Great tip. Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan, and I love that place down there. Be sure to visit them, the Carbon County Environmental Education Center. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back.